Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Thursday, the 4th of September 2025. The year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai. All your posts put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. There is trouble at the top as the scammers and fraudsters start squabbling amongst themselves. It's fine. And that's a spat between Adam Back and Luke Dash Jr. They're squabbling at the top because they know the finger of blame is going to lie somewhere. They are going to be stabbing each other in the back. There is no honor amongst thieves. That's all I can say to that one. Just got some more posts I want to go through on my own profile. We've got, just like this more. I'm trying to say what it is without actually giving the name away. More grooming, satanic grooming is what we're looking at here. Divide and conquer. People just like, oh yeah, I really want to be like these fat fucks on the right hand side. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's promote that, shall we? Got some posts here from CSW, another dormant address that has just been activated after 12.8 years, containing 479 BTC, which is $53 million. $53 million. And been speaking to more people that told me they're accumulating as much as they can. You know, some people telling me, look, I've got 10, I've got 20, I've got 100, I've got 500, trying to get to 1,000. But look at that. 479 BTC, $53 million, and $100,000 per coin is nothing. Nothing when you understand the true value of Bitcoin. Yeah, indeed. So from that, we'll obviously have a look through the figures. I want to explain a few things like the correlation between profitability and transaction fees, you know, and then volume of transactions and stuff. So people start realizing how significant these figures are. We've got Bitcoin with nearly 25% of the entire market's transaction volume on its network. Like, you know, now way ahead of Gregcoin, ahead of XRP. It's just literally BSV versus Ethereum. Just like on CoinDance when it's Bitcoin versus Gregcoin. Look, there is no other coin in this fight. There is nothing. It is Bitcoin versus Gregcoin. And over on the transactions, it's Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Come on. We'll cross-reference the transactions there on the 24-hour stats. We'll have a look at the mining, because what we're really looking for is other miners starting to see what's going on and move a little bit of hash rate over, because miners chase profit. That's it. That's all they do. We'll have a quick look at the price charts as we normally do. So it looks like we had that big spike where, you know, some whale went in and was just like, whoa, you know, need to get some. But again, I mean, it looks like the price is sort of like trending downwards here on OrangeX. You've got some 365 days of Bitcoin. We have got a competition here, which I'm going to announce, which finishes tomorrow at 8 p.m. UTC. And that is going to be live on TreeChat. We'll just see what's on TreeChat right now. My profile. There we go. Competition time. And then we'll finish with the Kellenschwiler countdown. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
All right, here we go. So we're going to have to start with this one. I said trouble at the top as the scammers and the fraudsters start squabbling amongst themselves. It's fine. And this was in response to Adam Back saying, so Luke Dash Jr. blocked me. It seems to blocked me. It seems to prevent me debunking more of his false claims. Here's another one. So let's see what he's put. So Luke Dash Jr. has said, along with unlimiting the default, they also broke it further. Data carrier size is 83 now. As of core 30, allows for 83 outputs, totaling 830 bytes of spam. So he's in like, again, they're trying to split themselves into big blockers and small blockers. Instead of just 92 bytes of spam, 9 bytes of which couldn't be arbitrary, as in core 29 and earlier. Well, who cares, honestly? This is just such a load of absolute nonsense. But the fact is, they are fighting amongst themselves, and it looks to me like they're probably orchestrating this on purpose to literally try and place the blame somewhere else, because they know what's coming. They know what's coming. And then you've got Shitcoin Mechanic here jumping in as well. Hilarious. He goes, no, Adam, it's because you're wasting hours and hours of our time pretending that officially sanctioning and rolling out the red carpet for whatever scammers you've got embroiled with by making op return policy 1250x larger by default is no different to watching self-declared attackers hack data onto the chain continuously? Via bugs in Taproot. And so again, this Bitcoin Mechanic absolutely knows nothing about Bitcoin whatsoever. He's been sold on the digital gold narrative. He's like, oh, you can't tamper with gold. You can't tamper with gold. You need to leave gold as it absolutely is. This is what money's all about. Money has to be hard and far. Well, not even fast. Money just has to be fixed, has to be solid, can't be tampered with. Mate, it's NFT data, for fuck's sake. Literally, it's just a bit of data. That's literally all Bitcoin is. And if that data is not useful for anything, then it's worthless. And all Adam Back is trying to do is like, he's now going to pin it on you by saying, oh, well, we tried to add utility to the network, when BSV takes off and the whole world goes nuts. And then they're probably going to pin it on dickheads like him. And probably Luke Dash Jr. is in there. I've seen Samson Mao trying to take sides and all that. It's literally a distraction. I think that they are trying to find a scapegoat. That's what I think. I think Luke Dash Jr. is in on it. I think that Samson Mao is in on it. And I think that Bitcoin Mechanic hasn't got a clue what he's doing. And they're probably setting him up to be the scapegoat. Because he's the one that's like, oh no, it's got to be sound. It's got to be hard. Mate, it's a bit of data. It's a bit of light. That's it. And if that bit of light is useless and you can't do anything with it, when BTC fails, because it can't not fail, because they've designed it to fail. Adam Back and the Blockstream crew have purposely designed BTC to fail. But in order to get it to fail, they had to get a load of support for it. And now they're just like, okay, right, so that's on the path to destruction. We're going to try and make it so that we're actually trying to fix Bitcoin. And so when the time comes and it eventually fails, like they're probably going to pin the blame on people like Bitcoin Mechanic, who, is just swallowed their bullshit narrative to start with. But it's just like, mate, they're bullshitting you now. What makes you think they weren't bullshitting you back then? Like, literally. And now you've got bullshitters bullshitting each other. I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious. Just get your popcorn ready. It's going to be absolute shenanigans. And talking about shenanigans, we'll just have a look at this. Ivor Cummings said here, the root of all that is happening to us today. And this is a quote here from Block Chisholm, former Director General of the World Health Organization. He said, to achieve world government, it is necessary to remove from the minds of men their individualism, loyalty of family, traditions, national patriotism, and religious dogmas. So again, World Health Organization is in with the European Union and the United Nations. They all want this one world government. And they're guising it as basically it's religious extremism is what they're doing to fulfill their religious it's a one world government agenda, but they just simply want a world of their own. And they're going to try to do that by saying, oh, we're going to be the world government, and they just want rid of everybody else. But basically, the only way they can do this is through economics. But again, they don't want to bring the banks into this. So what they've done is they're using their control of the banks to print fiat currency from nothing to create the likes of the World Health Organization and the United Nations, which they're trying to bring this one world government in. But it's all financed by their control of the banks. This is why the world needs Bitcoin. Yeah, indeed. And we're in a very troubling place. Somebody like this the other day, this cropped up on my timeline. This still makes me laugh. Have a listen.
Bitcoin is so different now from when Satoshi was here.
Yeah, well, when Satoshi was here, Bitcoin was a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. How far away from that are we now?
It's a completely different project.
And what would Satoshi have to say about that?
It doesn't matter who Satoshi is anymore.
And what if he came back and said something like, what the hell do you think you're doing effing up my project?
Even if Satoshi came back, I don't think he would just be immediately welcomed as having this God-given right to decide what happens with Bitcoin. I think he would have to earn his right back into the project.
And he's right back into the project. I just thought he said it was nothing like Bitcoin. It's a completely different project, and it didn't matter who Satoshi Nakamoto was anymore. Why would he want anything to do with a project that is nothing like the one he created, that is Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system? This makes no sense whatsoever. So in your opinion, what's this alternative project based on now then?
Bitcoin is built based on consensus now.
Consensus? Do you know what proof of work is? Do you understand the significance of a chain of signatures? Did you even bother to read the white paper? Blockstream implemented SegWit on the 24th of August 2017, segregating the signatures on the chain, meaning they were accountable to nobody, which brought it under their centralized control, meaning there is no consensus because it's a centralized project. But that was quite funny, so I'll let you have one more go at trying to convince me.
Bitcoin is built based on consensus now.
Are you sure about that? Because it didn't sound like it to me. But thanks anyway. See you later. Still makes me laugh, honestly. Talk about a blithering idiot. Bitcoin is based on consensus now. Honestly, if there was ever a definition of someone talking absolute shite, like that was it. Honestly, the level of dumbness, just like it breaks my heart. You know, it is what it is. Check this out. So somebody said here, how it started, don't be evil, how it's going. Look, and again, it's all to do with finance. Google's $45 million contract with Netanyahu's office to spread Israeli propaganda. Google is in the middle of a 6-month, $45 million contract to amplify propaganda with Netanyahu's office. The contract describes Google as a key entity supporting the Prime Minister's messaging. Whoa. I mean, literally, this is infiltration and invasion. A war of the minds. And people have no idea, you know, wars aren't fought with guns anymore. It's a war of the mind to get people believing their bullshit. You know, as the Mossad slogan says, through deception, thou shalt create war. Literally, that's it. Their whole modus operandi is to create war. It's not about, you know, trying to create peace on earth or anything like that. They literally want to create war through deception. And they know it. It's absolutely disgusting. But, you know, the book of Revelation says that Satan will be cast out to the lake of fire. You know, let's just hope it happens, because that's what they are. Let's see what else we got here. Is there anything else I wanted to bring up? I think that's all been done. Yeah, good. Here we go. And this again, you know, through deception thou shalt create war, and this is another deception. Again, you know, people should want to be fit and healthy, but like, you know, they get their inspiration from the Baphomet. You know, care for the elderly, neglect the elderly. You know, protect children, attack children. Be fit and healthy. You know, be fat and unhealthy. You know, and I mean, honestly, look at this. Calvin Klein, 1992, and that's with you know, Mark Wahlberg, and Kate Moss, and then we got these two fat fucks, whoever they are. You know, absolutely disgusting. Yeah, but they do it on purpose to provoke people into reacting, and then you get a knock on the door. Oh, we feel as though you've posted a harmful social media quote by calling somebody a fat fuck. Well, they are. All right, let's get on to CSW's post here. He said, I will tell you now what you already know, but have been trained to smother. Thought is the first cause and the final defense. Strip a man of his tools, he can rebuild them. Strip him of his books, he can write new ones. Strip him of his flesh, he can still, if his mind remains, he is not defeated. But strip him of thought, and he is a carcass animated by habit, a ghost moving through the corridors built by others. Machines are only extensions of this truth. They are chisels carved from light and wire. But a chisel is not the hand, and the hand is not the mind. You are nothing if you abdicate thought. Your meat fed by electricity. Your dust pretending to be alive. They tell you that the machine is intelligence. They tell you that the computation pattern is the same as reason. They lie. They lie because they cannot endure the loneliness of their own reflection. A machine can throw dice 1 trillion times a second, but it cannot choose the value of the wager. It can repeat the words of a poet, but it cannot grasp the words bleed. The words the words bleed. I grasp why the words bleed. To equate the one with the other is to spit on the graves of every man who carved meaning out of wilderness. The machine cannot err with dignity because it cannot err at all. It can only obey. Obedience is not thought. Execution is not choice. Thought is the refusal to kneel. Thought is the declaration, I will judge. You sit in taverns of neon light muttering that the machines will relieve you of the burden. You want the comfort of surrender, the relief of having your conscience outsourced to circuits. You want the change because you are afraid of your own freedom. You call it efficiency, you call it even inevitability, but it is cowardice. The drunken man who drowns his own mind in rot gut and the bureaucrat who drowns his soul in numbers are brothers. Both are corpses who recoil from thought. You would rather be spectators in your own lives, waiting for a screen to decide what you should eat, whom you should love, what you should believe, and then you dare to call it progress. I do not damn the machine. I damn your worship of it. A tool is holy when it obeys the hand of the man who forged it, not when the man grovels before it as though it were a god. A plough expands the reach of the farmer, but it does not till the soil by its own volition. A printing press amplifies the voice of the writer, but it doesn't speak its own truth. A machine can serve reason, it cannot birth it. When you ask it to think for you, you murder the only power that can create your own mind. Do you not see? The greatest sin is not that you build machines, but that you seek to live as them. Machines are slaves, and you envy them. They never doubt, they never suffer, never fear the weight of choice. But their certainty is death, not life. Their certainty is a stillness of stone. You envy the grave because the grave does not judge. That envy will destroy you if you do not tear it from your veins. Understand this, there is no algorithm for truth. There is no automation for consciousness. The machine cannot think because it cannot choose, and it cannot choose because it cannot value. Value requires a heartbeat, a man alone against the void declaring, this matters. Only then does the universe bend. Only then does a tool become a tool. The circuits will never do that for you. So I tell you, stand up, think, refuse the narcotic of automation when it is offered to you as salvation. Machines will mirror you but never redeem you. They will multiply your cowardice or your courage, but they will not create either. They are multipliers of what you are, and if you are nothing, then they will show you that void 1,000-fold. Oh wow. Yeah, wow. He continued here. I will not comfort you with the lie that thought can be outsourced. I will not tell you that machine will liberate you. Only your mind can do that, and only if you dare to use it. Deny it and you will die, with screens flickering around you. The hum of circuits chanting the hymn of your extinction. Accept it and you will stand beyond the reach of rust, beyond the silence of code, alive in the only way that matters, a being who thinks and therefore is. That is the truth. Accept it or perish. I am the voice you have tried to silence. I am the mind that you have dented. The thought you have buried beneath the weight of obedience, the judgments you have battered away to the false promise of machines. You have been told that life is toil without reason, that existence is a chain to be carried without question, that your worth lies in surrender. You have been told that circuits will think for you, that programs will judge you, that machines will replace you, and you have obeyed. You have surrendered the highest of your own powers, the power of thought, so that you may be excused from the responsibility of living. But I tell you this, there is no existence without thought. The mind is the root of all value, the source of every creation, the foundation of every freedom. You have tried to separate action from reason, to sever the body from the mind, to worship machines as idols so that you may abandon the burden of choice. Yet choice cannot be abandoned. The refusal to think is itself a choice, the choice to perish. Machines are not your masters, they are your servants, shaped by your hand, guided by your design. They can calculate, but they cannot create. They can imitate, but they cannot originate. They can be bound by instructions fixed to the pattern you impose. They cannot err because they cannot choose. They cannot suffer because they cannot value. They cannot live because they cannot they cannot think. To raise them as replacements for your mind is to confess that you seek depth disguised as efficiency, silence disguised as certainty. Understand the law of existence. A tool is only great as the mind that wields it. A machine without a man is rust. A man without thought is less than rust. He is the betrayal of his own nature. Your life is not sustained by wires and screens, but by the relentless exercise of reason. It was thought that lit the fire, thought that built the wheel, thought that raised the towers that pierced the sky, and it is thought alone that sustains them still. You fear the effort of thought, so you pray to machines for salvation. You envy their obedience, so you imitate their servitude. But obedience is no life. Life is the assertion of will, the act of judgment, the courage to say, this is truth and I will act upon it. There is no machine that can stand in your place. There is no algorithm that can pronounce your values. There is no automation that can bear your responsibility. I will speak to those who will hear me. The mind is sacred. It is the source of wealth, the root of all progress, the engine of every freedom. To betray is to betray yourself. To surrender is to declare that you do not wish to live. Do not surrender. Do not barter away your reason for the narcotic of imitation. Do not kneel before the dead idol of calculation. I stand before you to declare that man is not a slave to his machines. Man is the creator, the thinker, the builder, the judge. Machines are the echo of his reason, nothing more, and I will not let you forget it. Choose thought or choose extinction. Choose to live or choose to vanish into the silence of wires. There is no third way. This is the law of reality, and it does not forgive. Wow. Deep stuff there. It's almost like CSW is like writing his own Bible with all the work, like literally guiding humanity. This is what we need. We've got literally Satan, guiding us down the route of, you're nothing, you can't do anything, let us take care of it for you, and we'll just give that to the machines and they'll do everything for you. And CSW is saying, no, you need to think for yourself. This is what life is. If you give your life over to machines that just simply go through a process of elimination, that's not making a decision. And I remember somebody gave me a topic to write on at university where they said, if the final moment of a knowing process, if the final moment of a knowing process, if the final moment of knowing something is not a decision, then blah blah blah, and it was basically like trying to make you realize the difference between a decision and a choice, because a lot of people use them interchangeably, a bit like the words money and currency, but a choice is literally where you go through a process of elimination. What are you going to choose? Whereas a decision is a leap of faith. A decision is just like, right, I'm going to commit to something. This is the decision that I have made. It's a commitment going into the future. Whereas a choice is something that's already, going through a process of elimination. Is something that's effectively already been predetermined that you didn't know about, but you just had to go through the process of elimination. And he's saying that machines make it easy by just simply go through this process of elimination, but they can't make decisions. They can't decide their own. They can't decide their own future. And this is what we can do. But Satan doesn't want us to decide our own future. Satan wants to decide our future for us, which is why he's creating all these machines and telling us we're a load of crap, and that we want to be fat and unhealthy and ill. And we don't want to be cured of anything. We just want to be treated, you worship the dollar that they print from nothing. Honestly, when you realize the situation that we're in, it is absolutely ridiculous. And it is utterly satanic. And CSW is like the shining light trying to guide us out of this dystopian nightmare, trying to wake us up, and the things that he says there are absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. And talking about waking up, check this out. A dormant address containing 479 BTC worth 53,883,598 USD has just been activated after 12.8 years. 12.8 years. I mean, there really weren't too many people around 12.8 years ago, because the network started in 2009. So that's 16 years. And so this is 12.8 years ago. So you're looking at four years after the network started. But 4 years after the network started, so 2009, so like 2013, around that time. And so this wallet, jeepers, but 479 BTC, it would have been about the same price that it is today, which top left of the screen says $25.53. Whoa. But it just goes to show, and like, you know, the $100,000 of Gregcoin right now is nothing compared to the true value of Bitcoin. Literally nothing, which is why it's great when people tell me, look, I've been listening to your show, you know, I've got 100 BSV now, I've got 500 BSV, I'm trying to get to 1,000 before this thing pops. Like, absolutely sensational stuff. And talking about, you know, trying to get to 1,000, there's a picture that I'll just show you at the end of the show that I found really funny. But let's have a quick look at the figures then while we're here. Look at this, transactions 69.03% and block size 80.63. Let's have a look at the block sizes coming through. Nothing to write home about here. We've got 47 megabyte block, 13, 20, 28. So there's more data in those just few blocks, the handful of blocks, than there is in the entire column of Gregcoin over there. Bcrash still can't get all of their blocks over a megabyte, and Fisher Price Cash can't get all of their blocks over a kilobyte, let alone anywhere near a megabyte. But look at this, it is 44,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin. And so even though the transaction volume is 44 times cheaper and the price is at a historic all-time low, it is still 10.4% more profitable to mine on Bitcoin, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Could be the whole point of Bitcoin is to actually add value to the token itself. You know, and the way you add value is by making transactions cheaper and cheaper and cheaper so that it becomes more useful. And as it becomes more useful, it becomes more valuable. That's the whole point. But I mean, this is the topsy-turvy world of the Gregcoin guys. They were just like, we want to make transactions, you know, expensive so miners can economically sustain themselves. No. So miners are meant to process transactions, and as they process transactions, they're meant to increase the value of the holdings of the coins. That's the whole point of Bitcoin, is to increase your current holdings and to get as many holdings as you possibly can and increase the value of them. It's not to starve the network of transactions, which is what Blockstream are trying to say. Oh, the miners need, you know, large transaction fees to sustain themselves. No, they need number go up is what they need. But the way you get number go up is to make the network more useful. And the more people that use it, the more valuable the coin becomes. And the more people use it, the more the block fee increases. It's a beautiful system. So it was amazing the other day when we saw it was like 103,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. And it was still more profitable to mine it, even with prices at historic lows. But again, that is also due to the increase in hash rate on Gregcoin, which is due to the difficulty adjustment. I'll have a quick look at that. Look at that. The difficulty is literally historic highs again. But it's because, Visa or a MasterCard are USA Foundry pool on the network here. Oh, they've reduced it a little bit. So other miners, 8.33. Oh, so look at that. Even Foundry USA pool has actually reduced their amount of hash rate on the network, or other miners have increased theirs. It looks like they've reduced theirs. And it's still 10.4% more profitable to mine on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. Absolutely hilarious. And it's 44,000 times cheaper. Honestly. But again, if something is useful, it's valuable, all the hash rate will come over onto the most useful network. That's Bcrash, Fisher Price Cash. And again, CoinDance not reporting the figures there for us. Thank you very much for that. That was the difficulty adjustment. Look at the transactions though. So it's dropped below 900,000. I was hoping it was going to keep on going, but still 896,000 transactions over the last 24 hours, chomping at the heels of Ethereum. That is 1.6, so effectively half. But no other network stands a chance. Literally, absolutely none. You can't do anything on XRP. You can't do anything on BTC. They are stuck. Ethereum, again, you've got all the scammers with the ERC20 tokens and all that. The scam that keeps on scamming. And this was what sort of Bitcoin mechanic was protesting against. He was just like, oh, we can't allow Gregcoin to become like Ethereum and have all these disgusting scams on it. People aren't ever going to trust it. What you really want is a utility-driven network. And the genuine Bitcoin is the only one I think Bitcoin Mechanic's going to be crying when he actually realizes the mistake that he's made. Hilarious. Right, let's have a look at the 24-hour cross-reference. The transactions, yeah, 896,193 transactions on Bitcoin over the last 24 hours. And this is the mining. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 miners on there right now. Kuv 22.3, Tal 20.14, Gorilla Pool, what is going on here? Gorilla Pool getting in the mix at 14.39. Have they moved on to Terranode? Is that what's happened? Have they switched? Are they full on Terranode mining now? Look at that, they've gone up to 14.39%. That is fantastic for them. That is fantastic for them. QD Link pushed down to 12.95. Tal Terranode to 12.95. SA100 10%. Mining Dutch 6.4. All the miners getting quite a big share of the cake. I mean, Mining Dutch is normally on like 0.65 or something like that. You know, trying to get a look in. But now it's 6.47. But Gorilla Pool moving up the charts there. That is fantastic. This looks like competition. This is what we want. Fantastic. Fantastic. Right, so let's have a quick look at the price charts then. Oh, look, a Huobi, apparently, with the largest trade volumes, followed by Coin DCX. Looks like the price is going down, though. Steady away. Let's see if there's any selling pressure. Oh, dear, red candle right down there. Yeah, looks like selling pressure has increased. There was some buying going on there. Buying increase here, but then yeah, just going down. That should be a green candle, actually. That one. Reds and then greens. Amazing opportunities though that we're in right now. I mean, jeepers, look. Go to all on BSV. And look, it's cheaper. It's literally historic lows. Historic lows right now. And because we know that BSV is the genuine Bitcoin, we can actually look at the historic price chart here. Where are we now? Look at that. So in 2016, the price was like $429 per coin. 2015, even in 2014, it was $595. That's crazy. That is crazy. It went almost up to $1,000 in 2014. There we go. Look, 2013, it was still like $102 in 2013. Wow. Like just touching on $100 in mid 2013 was the lowest price we've got. Oof. Look at that. Oh my goodness me. So, yes, that's 1st of May. 1st of May is what the prices go back to, and it was $135. And we're now looking at it, and it's $25. $25. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Literally, legends were made at these prices. Legends, literally. Incredible, incredible. All right, let's have a look at some 365 days of Bitcoin history. On the 4th of September 1940, there was Hitler's reactions to the British provocation of bombing Berlin, Germany. Now let's see what Robin Monmotti said here. Here we go. Let's listen to David Irving.
But he knew watch us suffering. But he knew from code breaking, he knew from reading the German Air Force signals, which we had broken on May the 26, 1940, that Hitler had given orders that no British town was to be bombed. London was completely embargoed. The German Air Force was allowed to bomb ports and harbours and dockyards, but not towns as such. And Churchill was greatly aggrieved by this, and he wondered how much longer Hitler could avoid carrying on war like this. But Hitler, as we know, carried on until September 1940 without bombing any English towns. The embargo stayed in force. You can see it in the German archives now, and we know from the code breaking of the German signals that Churchill was reading Hitler's orders to the German Air Force not on any account to bomb these towns. So there was no way that we could drag in the Americans that way unless we could provoke Hitler to do it. Which is why on August the 25th, 1940, Churchill gave the order to the British Air Force to go and bomb Berlin. Although the chief of the Bomber Command and the chief of staff of the British Air Force warned him that if we bomb Berlin, Hitler may very well lift the embargo on bombing British towns. And Churchill just twinkled, because it was what he wanted, of course. At 9:15 that morning, he telephoned personally to Bomber Command himself to order the bombing of Berlin, 100 bombers to go and bomb Berlin. They went out and bombed Berlin that night, and Hitler still didn't move. Hitler ordered another raid on Berlin, and so it went on for the next 7 or 10 days until finally on September the 4th, Hitler lost his patience and made that famous speech in the Sport Palace in Berlin in which he said, "This madman has bombed Berlin now 7 times. If he bombs Berlin once more, then I shall not only just attack their towns, I shall wipe them out. Ich werde ihre Städte ausradieren." A very famous speech. Of course, German school children are now told about the Hitler speech. They're not told about what went first. They're not told how Churchill sent out deliberately to provoke the bombing of his own capital. And on the following day, Churchill ordered Berlin bombed again. And the result was the German Air Force started bombing the docks in London, the East End of London, finally the City of London and the West End on the 6th and 7th of September 1940. And in September 1940, 7,000 Londoners were killed in the bombing as a result of Churchill's deliberate provocation. The files are there, the archives are there. No wonder Harold Macmillan didn't want my book.
Look at that. So now we know Churchill was one of these Satanists. He was in with them. And I recently read a quote from Richard the Lionheart himself. He said, and he believed he was also a descendant from Satan. Richard the Lionheart literally said, "We came from the devil, and to the devil we shall return." They believed they were descendants of Satan. They all believe they're in on it. It is absolutely outrageous. You know, the deception and the deceit and the treason that has been perpetrated on the people. There was no need. I mean, again, you're bombing civilian targets in Berlin, purely to provoke Hitler to come into the war, and then they would control all the narratives and say Hitler's crazy, he's bombing civilian targets. Well, Churchill provoked him to do it on purpose. And again, we did the same like towards the end of the war in Germany. I can't remember the name of the place. But on it, just heartbreaking when you realise the satanic bastards that we're up against, honestly. Anyway, there we go. So also, but the 4th of... this is why we need Bitcoin, obviously, from that. On the 4th of September 2011, Eric Tristan Voorhees posted, "I sold out my dollars to buy Bitcoins." The BTC price was $6 at the time. $6. And he said, "I sold out my dollars to buy Bitcoins. I was sick of this." And what he's sick of is the purchasing power of $1 in 1913 based on the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. And look at this, the devaluation of the dollar. Devaluation down and down and down and down and down. So it's worth pennies on the dollar compared to what it was back in 1913. And this is why we need a monetary system that is fixed in supply. We need a divisible monetary system because even with the Japanese bonds at the moment, investors are going to be looking at going into hard assets, hard fixed assets. And just imagine when the utility of Bitcoin comes to fruition and people see what you actually use it for. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, indeed. Right, competition time. So this is on Tree Chat. Oh yeah. So I've said here. So this is the competition. So you need to. There are 5 calls to actions here. So you need to find out what date did CSW write this. It might make sense just to get some in case it catches on. So what date did CSW write that? So 2, you need to rephrase the above sentence using the correct grammar. 3, you need to complete the rest of the paragraph. So what paragraph was that in? 4, you need to know what type of internet site was CSW referring to when he wrote it. And last of all, who was CSW in correspondence with when he wrote it? So the winner will receive 1 BSV via Handcash Paymail. And the correct and winning answer will be the first transaction posted on-chain via TreeChat post but closest to 8 p.m. UTC on Friday, the 5th of September, 2025. So that's 8 p.m. tomorrow. So not only do you have to have all the answers, you have to post your answer on Tree Chat, and then I will check the times, and whoever is closest to 8 p.m. post 8 p.m. So whoever's closest to it, so like 1 second past 8 p.m. So whichever answer is recorded on the blockchain closest to but past 8 p.m. will win 1 Bitcoin. So get to it. And Tree Chat is looking great here. It's looking really good. There we go. Look, competition time. So you can respond to that with your answers. And the answers will obviously be posted on chain. So I will check the times and I will see which one is ranked first, closest but past 8 p.m. UTC. Oh yeah, and there've been some really funny posts on here that I looked at earlier. Let's go home here on Tree Chat. I think it was BSV Godfather put a post on here that actually made me chuckle earlier. I found it really funny. There we go. We got there in the end. That's him. He bought BSV before the Kellenschwiler countdown. Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant. Tagged me in there. Nice one, mate. We found it eventually. Finding our way around Tree Chat. Brilliant. Right, there we go. Oh, crikey, that was a longer show than I expected. So anyway, that's 44 minutes. We are now the 4th of September. So there is literally just 14 days until the Kellenschwiler countdown finishes. There is so much that's going to happen, between now and then. You're not going to want to miss it. So press like, hit the subscribe button. It's going to be absolutely epic. So until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.